all things property with Rach. Today we're going to be talking about being a landlord and being a good landlord. There's lots of legislation around rental properties, and do you really know before you become a landlord what you're getting yourself into? It's a common misconception that all landlords are multi-millionaires, businessmen and women who don't care about the property or the tenant, and all they're worried about is getting paid and earning a good money from property. But after becoming a landlord myself and working with lots of landlords and property investors over the last few years, I can tell you that this definitely isn't the case in most cases. Working in property and having a property portfolio and a property business is actually much harder than you think. Lots of people think it's quick, easy money, and that's definitely not the case. Don't get me wrong, there are some rogue landlords, as with any industry or any profession. When you're looking for rental properties, really do your homework, and if it looks too good to be true, either as a tenant or a landlord, then it usually is. So make sure you're doing the right thing for you.
There you go.
So what do you need to do as a landlord? Well, there's lots actually. There's lots of laws and regulations around renting a property either as a single let under an assured short hold tenancy, or an HMO, house multiple occupancy, even holiday lets and service accommodation. The regulations around these are tight, and legally to cover yourself you must make sure that you're providing the correct paperwork, you're having the right checks done on the property is as it should be, and with a good quality service you can make sure that you're fully compliant. Doing your homework is so important when you are even thinking of becoming a landlord. Research exactly what is required from you with your chosen strategy, as this is different depending on how you're going to rent the property. And if you feel it's too much, look at getting a good letting and management agency in to really make sure that you are covered and you're fully compliant. It might be a little extra cost, but that little extra cost could save you a big headache, a lot of work, and ultimately time and money in the long run. If you are going to use a lettings and management agency to find you a tenant and manage your property going forward, make sure you do your research, get recommendations. There's lots of property networks out there that you can join, speak to other landlords and find out who they use, why they use them, and if this suits you. You need to make sure that they're going to do things properly for you, and question that. Ask them what systems they have in place to manage your property, and make sure that you're happy with that based on the research that you've done. Ultimately you are the landlord, it's your property, your rent, your tenants, the buck stops with you, so it's crucial that you get somebody that's going to look after your interests. To name but a few things, initially it's getting the right tenant for the right property. Make sure you're referencing the tenants, and if you're using an agency, make sure they're doing it and they're doing all the correct, and give you a full report before you commit to that tenant moving in. We'll look at referencing in another video because that is so in depth of what you need to look at. You also obviously have to make sure that your gas safety and electrical safety, put my teeth in, are all in place, and the property meets the correct standards. You've got to make sure that they're serving the correct documents at the right time to the tenants, because all of these things could affect your rights if you need to ever take a tenant to court, or you need to enforce anything. Not making sure that you've done these things, or not having done these things, will put you in a position where your rights are less and you can't exercise your rights as a landlord. The other thing is obviously deposits, making sure that you're not taking too much deposits. There is a maximum now on what you can take, and that it's held in a deposit protection scheme, and everything, again, paperwork is served to the tenant. There's lots of things to think about when you are initially putting a tenant into a property. A good letting and management agency might cost a little more than you was hoping for. Obviously, again, do your research, get more than one, speak to more than one agency, but actually sometimes you get what you pay for, and in this instance it is definitely worth paying a little bit more to make sure that you are completely covered. They're going to handle everything for you, And in the worst case scenario, if that happens and you find yourself in court, they are covered, you are covered, and they're going to talk you through that process and be there for you to hold your hand every step of the way. If you are thinking of self-managing a rental property, now I would definitely recommend becoming a member of, say, lots of property groups so that you can help each other and get information and experience from other landlords, more experienced landlords, and becoming a member of maybe the NRLA or any other support and advice body, just to give you some guidance, particularly if it's your first time. As ever, I hope this has helped, and if you've got any questions or anything you need to know at all, do please get in touch. Whilst we're not offering a letting service ourselves, we are teaming up with a lettings and property management agency that we can pass your details on to. So any questions at all, let me know, and don't forget to like and subscribe.